Hey sports fans, welcome to the Command Center for another episode of Coach's CorOner with your host, Jeff, the Sandman Sook. Welcome back. Now it's been a few weeks since we did an episode, and of course a lot has happened. And I teased at the end of episode 2 that we were going to do a feature on Brandon Staley, and that's what we're going to get to now. I was about to pop this episode out before the Chiefs-Chargers game from a week ago, and I'm really glad I didn't because that was a very compelling game. And what makes Brandon Staley so compelling is the fact that he goes for it consistently in spots where we've just never seen coaches consistently go for it. And the Chargers are among the teams that have gone for it the most, but it's the spots and the situations where he's gone for it that is so interesting. And it's made the Chargers a very compelling team to watch this year. So we've made a video montage of some of the more interesting decisions along the way that he's made, and we're very excited to show that to you now. So this is a great place to start for a lot of reasons. First, it's week 2, so it's the first chronologically in this highlight pack. And secondly, it deals with a 4th and 1, and 4th and 1 is definitely a theme of the episode. And thirdly, this is a spot historically where teams would punt because you're on your own 35. You didn't want to risk giving them the football. But you know what, Brandon Staley, he does things a little bit different, doesn't he? So there's no decision for him. He's going for it. It's just another day at the office for him. They're going to get it. Justin Herbert, QB sneak, always a great choice there. And as we can see, by going for it in this instance, the Chargers increased their chances of winning by 6.2%. So that is a high number, in part because it was a short one. Now there's a tracker in the football, so every inch matters even in these numbers. But it's very, very rare that a 4th and 1 is a kick of either a field goal or a punt. 4th and 1 is almost always a go for it. Now there are late half and late game situations where that wouldn't be the case, but 4th and 1 is generally a go for it, no matter where you are on the field. So here we are in week 3. This is the Chargers at the Chiefs in Arrowhead, and boy, have the Chargers-Chiefs given us some good games this year. And part of the reason they've been so thrilling is because of the decisions that Brandon Staley has made. Now, here from the 37-yard line, from the 27-yard line, they could opt to kick a 45-yard field goal to tie the game on the first play of the 4th quarter, but instead they go for it on 4th and 4. It's a very manageable down and distance. And Herbert is able to convert to Keenan Allen. The Chargers get a touchdown on that drive. Now, here we go. It's 4th and 9. There we see he's going to throw it. This is from the 35-yard line. So the Chargers are thinking, hey, if we get a first down here, we can kill the remainder of the clock and kick a field goal as the game expires, or at least that's what they should be thinking. So they go for it here instead of opting for a long field goal. They've had troubles with their field goal kicker early in the season. I mean, they've had troubles with their field goal kicker for the last 25 years, so should come as no surprise. So they go for it here, and they're going to get bailed out by a pass interference call. And then it ends up being 1st and goal. Now, this is the part where it gets a little strange. It's 1st and goal. The Chiefs have one timeout, and there's 35 seconds left. So all you have to do is kneel down twice. You kneel down twice. You call a timeout with 3 seconds left. You kick a field goal. You win the game. Why even risk giving Mahomes the ball back with a timeout in 30 seconds? But the Chargers, they do just that. They don't just risk the interception, but they risk that as well. And Mike Williams comes down with it. And, it's not very often where I don't like it when a team scores a touchdown, but this is definitely that situation. It was a very puzzling move by Brandon Staley there to not just kneel down and kick a field goal. Now, amazingly enough, 2 weeks later, a very similar situation unfolds. Cleveland's out of timeouts. There's 1:40 left in the game. The Chargers, all they have to do is kneel down 3 straight times, run it down to 3 seconds, kick a field goal, and win the game. But instead, this is what happens. And, the first time you see this, you're going to say, well, Eckler, it doesn't look like he really wants to go in, and the Browns do the smart thing and push him in. But, let's watch it again. What really is Eckler doing here? He could go down there. He could go down there. He could go down there. And I don't want to fault Eckler for this because why does he even have the football? Just kneel down. Just kneel down 3 times. Why are you even allowing for the possibility of the Browns pushing you into the end zone? So that was very strange as well. And the only real reason I can think of is they have such little faith at this point of the season in their field goal kicker, Tristan Vizcaino, who was off to a bad start. But I mean, a kick from in there, you have to cut him in that case, which the Chargers ended up doing. So going into week 6 against the Ravens, the Chargers were 7 of 8 on fourth down. And you had to know the other shoe was going to drop at some point. And, that's where the critics come in, right? Because now you can criticize these decisions, And what's interesting about the two decisions I'm going to show from this game is that they were both, really close. They're both, I think it was 0.3% and 0.2% better to go for it in both spots. So it was slightly better, but never in the history of football have we seen a coach where it's a coin flip situation err on the side of aggression. Brandon Staley is really the first that ever does it consistently. And this is two more examples. And unfortunately on this day for the Chargers, it wasn't their day. And they missed these two. They went 1 for 4 from fourth down in the game and they got trounced. And of course, when you go for these fourth downs, that's from your own 19-yard line, and that was the one that was 0.2, I believe, better to go for it. And look, you can see it's a bit longer than a 1, so that further exemplifies the fact that 4th and 1 is always a go for it. Guess what? I got another 4th and 1 for you. This is the Eagles game. Now, the Chargers have a new kicker at this point. They have Dustin Hopkins, so maybe they have a little more confidence. Let's see what happens. But here we are. This is a 4th and 1, and this is where I see far too many teams kick field goals. No, the best path to victory here, get a first down, kill the clock, kick a field goal as time expires. That's the way championship teams should do it. And so let's see what happens. Herbert, QB sneak. Always got to like the QB sneak. You can see it was less than 1. Love that play call there. And what is that going to set up? Look, they do it right this time. They kicked the field goal with, they called timeout with 5 seconds instead of 3, which was a little bizarre. But, other than that, they did it right. And they kicked the field goal at the end. They killed the clock and they won the football game. Well, they won the other two, but this way they won it without having to sweat it out at the end. I'm pretty sure this is the only suboptimal kick the Chargers have had all season. Now, they have had a few go-for-its in situations that were suboptimal, don't get me wrong. But as far as kicking it, field goal or punt, this is the only suboptimal they've had all year. And this is the old extend the game philosophy. You're down 10 points, so a field goal here extends the game. But, it's 4th and 2, very makeable. You're at the 6-yard line, so if you convert, you're probably getting a touchdown. And a touchdown here gives you so many more avenues to victory. If you kick a field goal here, sure, you're down 7, then that's nice, but you still got to get the football back, score a touchdown, then you got to stop them, win in overtime or whatever. It's just so much harder if you kick a field goal here and you're right there in striking distance. So it's disappointing to see Staley fall in the trap of this. He does go through with the field goal there. Hopkins makes it a 7-point game. We're going to look at the numbers on this. And as you can see at the bottom there, it turned an 18% chance win into 15.5% chance. So, it's just never the play. The extend the game philosophy is really a cautious play that hurts your chances of winning, kind of like prevent defense. So this is another one too here where you're at the 34-yard line. You could kick a 51-yard field goal in Mile High. So you got, the thin air there. Maybe it's a little easier of a kick, but it's not the way the Chargers do business. It's just not the way it's done for them. And then you see the athleticism of Herbert making this play. What a play. And Guyton there, he picks up the first down. So let's get to last Thursday night's game, and that was an instant classic. Of course, Brandon Staley, he got a lot of criticism the day after, or even that night, for all the fourth downs that he didn't convert. But let's go through them. I mean, I don't think they're that bad. Let's see. So this is the opening drive. This is a 4th down and goal from the 5-yard line. Opening drive of the game, you want 7. Hey, if you don't get it, you pin them at the 5-yard line. This, of course, is a go for it. And unfortunately for the Chargers, they're not going to get it. And on top of that, one of their players gets injured. So I hope we show the incomplete pass. That's enough. So here we go, 4th and 1 now. This is on the drive. This was on a touchdown drive that they scored. I didn't hear anyone talk about this, but they got the 4th and 1 on that and ended up scoring a touchdown on that drive. If we're going to be results oriented, let's mention everything, shall we? So okay, let's go to decision number 3. Now this one was the closest of all the 5 4th downs that they had in the game. And a big reason for that is it's the last play of the half. So you don't have the equity of pinning them deep if you don't get it. However, it was still slightly a go for it. And, that's their approach. That's their bravado. I mean, the Chargers aren't kicking field goals in this spot. It's just not happening. It's just never happening. So, they go for it. Unfortunately, they don't execute. for them. Here we go. Here's the 4th and 2. You give up the opportunity for the 46-yard line. I mean, that's another one. Here we go. And this is what I love. So this is the end of the play. We see that he got it. But, you've had 4 fourth downs in the game. You've only made 1. You could see them kicking a field goal. You could see some teams being just gun shy at this point and kicking a field goal. Not the Chargers, not Brandon Staley. He sticks to his guns. He goes for it there. They get down to the 4-yard line and end up fumbling the ball at the 1, getting the ball back, scoring a touchdown. But whatever, it doesn't matter. Point is, it was the right go for it. So here are the numbers for all 5 of them. And as you can see there, the decision guy has agreed with Brandon Staley on all 5 decisions. So while the numbers did say that they should go for it in all those spots, somehow people still had a problem with it. So as we saw in that highlight pack, there are definitely situations where Brandon Staley deserves criticism. However, last Thursday night against the Kansas City Chiefs, he deserves no criticism and yet got a lot. Troy Aikman all game long kept harping about it, and so many journalists wrote about it the next day saying, hey, if on a couple of those where the Chargers didn't convert, if they kicked field goals, they would have had a way better chance of winning. Well, yeah, they would have been a better spot. Once you know that they don't convert, of course, kicking a field goal is the better choice. I mean, if your chances of converting are 0%, of course, go with the field goal. But they weren't. You don't know what's going to happen, and all you can do is put your team in the best position at that time. And in all those instances, going for the touchdown or the first down was a better play than kicking a field goal. So it's really a moot point, and that's not good journalism. That's hindsight. That's grabbing the low-hanging fruit and having something to talk about. It's actually quite sloppy and kind of embarrassing. And you know what? At the end of the day, Brandon Staley's going to do it this way. And if you don't believe him, just ask him.
And that's the way we're going to play around here. That's the way we're going to play. And, when we have a quarterback like ours and we have an offense like ours, that's the way we're going to play.
Now, I get it from a fan perspective. You're used to seeing the game played in a certain way. So I can understand, you can draw that line where the Chargers lose a game in overtime and they passed up short field goals. I get it. You can make that argument, but these decisions are math-based. That's the way Brandon Staley's going to do it. And his season has been fascinating so far. Yeah, there's been some bumps along the way, but the Chargers are a good team. They're an exciting team, and it'll be interesting to see how the rest of the season goes for them. It's time now to get to our deadly decisions for weeks 12 to 15. We got a 5-pack for you. And on top of that, we do have an honorable mention as well. So let's jump right into it.
Honorable mention, Rick Bisaccia.
Yeah, so this game was kind of funny because there's actually 7 suboptimal kicks in this game and 4 from Mike McCarthy, who I decided I wanted to give a week off to, but here we are, I'm mentioning them. And then 3 by the Raiders, and this was the worst of the bunch of the 7 suboptimal kicks. And this is a 4th and 3. As you can see, there's a $1.56 left. Dallas has 2 timeouts. So if you were able to convert the 4th and 3, you'd be able to kill almost the entire clock, make it a closer field goal attempt, and win the game without giving them the football back. Instead, you risk a 56-yarder, which by no means is a layup. Carlson, he's having a great year. He makes the kick, and Dallas does tie it, and then the Raiders win it in overtime. But if you look, let's see here. We missed the numbers. See the kick again. Why not? Let's get to these numbers, though. If you look, the decision guide found a whopping 9.8% points advantage and win probability value in going for it compared to kicking there. So this was actually considered the 3rd worst decision of the season this year. But hey, despite that, the Raiders still won the football game.
Number 5, Bill Belichick.
Okay, let's pause it here. Let's take a look at this. So here we are. It's 20-7 with 9 minutes left in the 4th quarter. It doesn't take a slide rule here to realize that a field goal does little good. Now, in the first 2 episodes, I've highlighted the difference between 13 and 10 points and how there isn't a big one. And look, it's 4th and manageable. Yeah, it's 7 yards, but it's manageable. And you're 2 scores down. If you kick a field goal, guess what? You're still 2 scores down. So what? Little good it does you. And we see, okay, they make it. Sure, the kick goes in, and there you see the numbers, 14% versus 9% there. So just a terrible field goal from Bill Belichick.
Number 4, Zach Taylor.
Okay, let's cue this one up here. So we got 4th and 1. This is all the way back in week number 1. And the Bengals, they're up 14 points late in the 3rd quarter. and they're at their own 30. So conventional wisdom, you're never, ever going for it here, right? But times have changed. The numbers would say to go for it here. We're not going to be results-oriented because the Bengals don't get the first down. So we do look at the numbers here, and you are going to see, we're going to pause it right there, that they improved their chances of winning from 85.5% to 87.5% by going for it. So clearly a go for it. Didn't get it though. So good choice, bad result. So then we get to week 14, and it starts with this 4th and 1 early or late in the first quarter, early in the game, and settling for 3 there is always disappointing. And then this is a 4th and 1. Yeah, you're in your own territory, but you're stuck 11 in the third, and that should never be a punt there. And as we look at the numbers as they come out, the field goal in the first quarter there, minus 3.9% by kicking the field goal over going for it. And then the punt in the third is minus 2.8%. So maybe this was a case of the good old once bitten, twice shy. He didn't get it all the way back in week 1, so he said, well, let's kick. And that ended up being a bad choice. The Bengals lost the game in overtime.
Number 3, Cliff Clinsbury.
Yeah, so let's cue this one up here. This is the late game situation between the Rams and the Cardinals. Now, I was critical of Clinsbury last year. As you can see, you can still kind of see him in there, and we're going to leave it like that. That's fine. So the situation here, I was critical of him last year, but this year I felt he did a good job. That is up until the last 2 weeks. He's made some bad decisions. And this one's just a terrible decision. So the Cardinals have no timeouts here. As you can see, there's 24 seconds left. They need a touchdown to tie it or potentially win it with a 2-point conversion. So anything over the middle here, you just have to run up and spike the ball. So the Cardinals, they go up the middle, sure. But what do? They don't spike it. Instead, they waste a bunch of time, call a play, and they never get set. And it's just a total mess. And it ends up being the game over right on that play. And there was no reason to call a play there. Now, some people blame Kyler Murray for that. To me, I think that's on the coaching staff. So now we get to week 15, and this is against the Lions. And I mean, it's 4th and 3. It's very manageable. You're down 17 points. You need points. Yeah, sure, a field goal makes it a 14-point game, but you need points. So what do? They trot out Matt Prater. Sure, he makes it. Doesn't matter. It's still a terrible field goal. And then here we go again, 24-3. I mean, you're down 21 points. Once again, we don't need to get the slide rule out to know that you're down 3 touchdowns. So kicking a field goal late in the third on 4th and goal is just something that's never going to be a good idea. And once again, it's just a bad decision. And Clinsbury's back to his old tricks from last year, and the Cardinals are losing football games.
Number 2, Sean McDermott.
Yeah, I put him in number 2 again. If you go back to last season's AFC Championship game against the Chiefs, that loss, in every loss since the 6th this year in that game, he's had a bad decision, and this is the one. This is on Monday night now. You can see it's 11:10 now. You're wondering, wait, what's the decision here? The Patriots have the football, but the decision here is this is the play, and whatever, that's the play, 4th and 1. They gave them the first down on that. And the decision that was terrible by the Bills here is that they challenged that. They challenged the spot hoping that they'll give them the football and move it back. But you just never win that challenge in a game where timeouts are so valuable. You just punt one for free. Oh, zoom in on the ref. Didn't need to do that. But anyways, just a bad decision there. And then we go to the Tampa Bay game. So here it is. They end up running a fake. Now, it was 4th and 2, and they're down 21 points in the third quarter from their own 44. So this is 100% a go for it. No team's ever going to be surprised by a fake punt because you got to go for it in this spot. So the Bills, they run a fake punt, and it goes nowhere. Bucs aren't surprised, and neither am I that they weren't surprised. But then it's 4th and 3, very similar situation. Well, you bring the punt unit out again. You can't very well fake punt it again, so you just go through with the punt. And guess what? That's just another bad punt. So in the first instance in this sequence, you left your best player on the sidelines. Josh Allen instead ran a fake punt. No need to there. Just bring your offense out and get the 2 yards. And then the second time around, you punt the football and you should have gone for it. So it's just another disappointing couple of weeks for Sean McDermott.
Number 1, John Harbaugh.
Yeah, so I had a lot of people actually ask me about this decision, and by a lot I mean a few, at the end of the Week 13 game against the Ravens. And so the Ravens were down 7. They scored a touchdown with 12 seconds left, and they decided to go for 2 in the win. And my answer was, well, I don't have a problem with it. As I mentioned in episode 2, I'm not going to nitpick in this situation. So let's roll it, see what happens. I think we know. Mark Andrews drops it, not the greatest pass, and they don't get it. But here's the problem. Week 15, here we go. And this is a totally different situation because they were down 14 points. And when they were down 14 points, they scored a touchdown to make it an 8-point deficit. And instead of going for 2, and thus giving them the 2-for-1 opportunity that I talked about in episode 2, and if you haven't seen episode 2, like most people haven't, and especially John Harbaugh, I would recommend going and checking it out. But as was illustrated there, this is 100% a go for 2. So the Ravens, they besmirch the numbers. They say, no, we're just going to take the 1. And then they score a touchdown with 42 seconds left, and then they decide to go for 2. So guess what? They turn this into an all or nothing play. Whereas if they go for 2 the first time around, even if they don't get it, they'd have a chance to tie it. And if they got it, they could still just kick the extra point on the second touchdown and win the game. So it's a terrible mistake to kick a 1 after the first touchdown. And on top of that, if you look at the time left, 42 seconds left, Green Bay still has a timeout. I don't like the call to go for 2 with that amount of time left, because if you do get it, even if you get it, you're going to incite aggression from the Packers. They're going to be more desperate, and the likelihood of them scoring points upon getting the ball back is much higher. So I think with 42 seconds left, I think you're better off just going to overtime. But again, normally I wouldn't nitpick it, but guess what? That's a mistake you simply cannot make. You have to go for 2 after the first touchdown in this sequence. And you know what? They end up losing the football game, and there's no excuse for it. John Harbaugh, this is number 1. It absolutely deserves to be number 1 because this is simple game theory. There's no way you should not know that. There's no way you should allow for a situation where you're not going for 2 after that first touchdown. And, there's 32 of these jobs in the world, and how are you missing that? It's the amazing thing to me. I don't know why it is an amazing thing. I don't know why this even surprises me, but it still does. No one talked about this. This, after the game, they were talking about the play call or, the decision to go for 2 at the end. But no one talked about the fact that he should have gone for 2 after the first touchdown in the sequence. And to me, that's just mind-boggling. Like, how? It's 2021. How does this go unnoticed, I guess that's how it happens in the first place. It's just still not, this thought process still just isn't mainstream enough as it should be. And, like I've said in every episode, might as well say it in this one too. The NFL, it's a numbers vacuum, has been for years and remains that way. So I hope you all had a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, all that stuff. Enjoy Week 16. And, next episode, we are going to talk about commentators. The time has come for me to pile on the commentators. So spoiler alert, Troy Aikman, he might be on any kind of list that I have. So until then, thanks for watching and all the best.